Oh, well, hello. Sorry, I was just taking a little look-see at all those suckers who are paying for advertising. What's that about? Oh my gosh, it's the age of the internet, people. All you need to do is throw up a website and then just kind of wait there, simmer there. People are going to feel your energy, folks. If you build it, they will come. They'll just sort of kind of smell you out, money in hand. They'll be like, please take my money. That's all you need to do, right? Right? Get a Facebook page, post a status, picture of a sunset with an inspiring quote. Well, I'll tell you what. If you were my clients, then, or not even my clients. No, that's wrong. It's not my clients saying this, but I see small business owners with this mentality of, it's the age of the internet. I don't need to pay for advertising. I like to call it #Addy issues. Does your business have Addy issues? Are you under the impression that if you pay for advertising on the internet, it's like you're kind of giving up, you're surrendering, you're saying, okay, I'm not good enough to be found organically, so I'm just going to give over to the Zuck and give them all my hard-earned money. Why? And I got to tell you, this is a myth. This is a misconception, and that's what I want to take on today, on today's episode of Awkward Marketing. I'm RKA, because as you know, you can't spell awkward without RKA, right? We're talking about when should you, as a small business owner, pay for advertising. So, all right, a couple weeks ago, big news hit. Hey, Boo. Hey, Heather. What is up? So a couple weeks ago, some big news hit. It's been in the makings for a while, but now this is, people are hearing about it. Facebook is making changes to the news feed. Used to have a page, a business page, and your page content would get put into the news feed with everybody else's content so you could get found and your info could be found organically, right? Without having to pay for it. You were getting seen by your audience. Well, Facebook is making changes to the news feed. So now what we're going to see is more of our friends and family's content, more pictures of cute babies, folks. Sorry, not sorry. And less of organic page content because, they're trying that out to see, will that improve the Facebook experience for people? A lot of people are complaining, oh my gosh, all I see are ads. All I see are, posts from, companies or businesses that I don't know. So Facebook is making changes. And people, when this news hit, that the only business stuff that will eventually be shown in the newsfeed is going to be paid advertising as opposed to everybody's page content, people were freaking out. They were like, I demand a refund even though Facebook is free, Like, how dare you, Mark Zuckerberg? Internet marketing is supposed to be free, right? And we've seen this happen time again, not just with Facebook, but Google, Let's talk about your blog, your bloggy blog. 5-10 years ago, you could whip up a blog and you would have actual strangers finding you and coming to that blog. You didn't have to do anything. It was easy to find you in search results, and that's gotten more and more and more competitive. Facebook, the newsfeed, this new newsfeed change, privileging paid content from pages, is kind of predictable. This has been a long time coming. Years ago, they made tweaks to the algorithm so that organic page views were and seeing your content as a page dropped dramatically, and people were freaking out then too. They're like, "How dare you, Zuckerberg? How could you do it to me?" But here's the thing: it wasn't just that Mark Zuckerberg is in his little cave, plotting ways to take our money, but the fact that the internet is growing and that Facebook users are growing. In 2012, Facebook hit 1 billion users. It was the first social media network to do that. Now, 1 billion active users. That means people who actually log in and use it. Not just people who've made an account and then, like your Uncle Leroy who made a, Facebook profile 10 years ago and never put up a picture. No. Talking about people who actually use it. For 2012, it was 1 billion. 2017, it's 2+ billion active users on Facebook. So this is not just about an evil scheme to force you to pay for advertising and to screw over your business. This is also just because the reality is there's more information out there competing for attention. There's more stuff. There's no possible way. If you're like me and you like, a few hundred pages you've amassed over the years, there's no possible way that you're going to be able to see all of those pages' content on your feed. It's just not possible. There's too much information out there. Same thing with Google, as we were talking about. They say something like 200,000 plus websites launch every day, okay? So yeah, you go back 10 years when having a website was a novelty, and of course you were going to get found more organically, on the internet. Now we've got 200,000 K plus websites launching every day. It's getting saturated, folks. Instagram, 800 million active users and counting. Heather says paid ads for the win. So spoiler alert, I'm just going to say that. Dave, paralyzed by fear of not optimizing my ads properly, retargeting, correct audience, etc. Yes, I feel you. And let's talk about that. So let's get into it. Oh gosh, Heather says the free bubble, I miss it. I do too. Wasn't it nice? It was pretty sweet back in the day when you could just, my Instagram stories, if you saw them this morning, I did a character that was like, back in my day, you used to be able to put your business name on the side of a barn, and that was enough. That's all it took, folks. I mean, and if you look at the history of advertising, in general, we see it used to be, we had far less options for getting in front of clients. So advertising kind of started with word of mouth. People would have handmade, before the pre-business card, they would have handmade flyers and information about their businesses that would pass around. Right? Then we got radio. I'm massively speeding up. Then we got radio, and then suddenly you could, share your message and your products with the world with thousands of people via the radio. Then television happened. And then now we can get in front of people, not just by listening or by, a piece of paper. We can do crazy things. We can dance. We can, we can get in front of, hundreds of thousands of people because of television advertising. But all of these types of advertising were super general. Okay, there was no targeting. Whoever is listening to the radio, who's ever listening to this show at this time, they're going to see my ad. Whoever is watching Johnny Carson tonight, they're going to see my ad. Probably 95% of them, this isn't going to be relevant to them, but I'm going to hope that a few of those people it's going to stick. Then came cable TV, and that changed the game. Cable TV was the internet precursor because suddenly now advertisers could get in front of their audience in more specific ways. If I advertise the cool hip new sneaker, I'm going to put that ad on MTV, right? I'm not going to necessarily put that ad on CNN. I'm going to put it on MTV because that's where the hip young people are watching, right? If I've got, a product that I'm targeting to moms, maybe I'm going to put that on Lifetime, right? So, I've got a new doll, a new toy. I'm going to put that on Nickelodeon. So cable TV changed the game because then suddenly we could target ads to more of the right audience. Sandra Centurino's here. Hey there! I'm going to be on her show tomorrow. Sandra, drop your link in the comments so people know about your show because it's freaking awesome. Heather says, yeah, and some of those new daily websites are actually fantastic. Oh yeah, going back to the 200,000 websites that are launching every day. So the free bubble was superb, wasn't it? So yeah, okay, here we are in the history of advertising. We got cable TV, changed the game, and then came the internet. And then suddenly, with the advent of the internet, we're into this new age of super hyper custom advertising. And so this is where I want to start to work on a reframe here. A lot of people are very resentful of the idea that they would have to pay for advertising online. What? What is going on? I shouldn't have to do that. I used to be able to, put up a thing on my website and a blog and people would see it and they were buying from me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to pay for it. This isn't fair. But the reframe of this is that with all of these amazing internet tools that we have, including Facebook with its 2+ billion users, 2 billion plus, two users, Facebook and its 2 users. No. That's why it's called awkward marketing, folks, with RKA. No, Facebook and its 2 billion plus billion users. What? Oh my gosh, billions and millions and trillions. I mean, they're everywhere. All of these users, we have the ability to target ads in a way that we never were able to before. And, I was at that YouGuru Summit last week and I told you about it last time. And one of the guys that came up there was Nicholas Kuzmich. He is a Facebook ads aficionado, and he was saying something that I really resonated with. The internet has democratized advertising. Because going back to, we look at television ads, we look at radio ads, we look at print ads, we look at billboards, all of that type of advertising back in the day, you would have to spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars to get in front of the right audience. And with tools like Facebook, you can spend as little as $10 and get in front of your audience. You can get, you can spend, a couple $100 and have a successful advertising campaign. So I'm just going to cut to the chase here and say, when should you, because this is the question that, is on everybody's mind, when should you really think of, adding paid advertising into your business plan, into your marketing plan? When, as a small business owner? And the answer is, if you run a business, you need to put paid advertising into your marketing plan. Yes, I know you don't want to hear that, but let me say it again, if you run a business, you need to be putting paid advertising into your marketing budget. And the benefit of this, as I just said, is we have the ability to you can target a Facebook ad towards women of a very certain age who like a very certain person, who, go to very specific websites, who do, this amount of specificity is a gift. And it where once upon a time you had to spend tens of thousands of dollars to maybe reach a tiny percentage of a huge audience. Now, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about all the people that this ad of mine is not relevant to. I can put it right in front of the people who it is going to be most resonant with. So that's the first thing I want to say. If you are a business owner, start rethinking. Everyone I'm not going to pay to play. When did it become pay to play? Yeah, well, the question is, do you want people to see your stuff? Do you want people to see your content? Do you want people to get your message? It's time to pay if you want to play. And that's what I have to say today. So here's the thing. All right, I'll tell you this much. There are do's and don'ts of getting into the ad game. So I want to talk about some of the best ads to kind of start you off. If you're getting into paid advertising, where you want to start and what you want to kind of avoid. What I see a lot of the time is I'll see my clients, they'll be like, advertising just doesn't work for me. I spent $25 on an ad and I got nothing. So I can just tell you right now, it's not going to work. You get that Google ads credit. They give you like $50 or $100. Oftentimes with like your hosting account. Like you sign up for Bluehost, which I don't recommend, go to Flywheel. But you sign up for Bluehost, they like throw you a bunch of credits. You're like, cool, I got free ads. You do a Facebook or a Google ad and then you wait for your life to change and you're pissed because nothing happens, right? And so the first mistake I see people making is throwing up a small ad with a couple of bucks and thinking that ad is going to tell them how successful they will be with advertising. And that's a myth. That's a don't. Here's a few reasons why. Number one, we've talked about this before. It takes 5 to 7 minimum interactions with your ideal client online before they're ready to buy from you. So they might see an ad from you and they might click that ad and they might be super interested in what the ad is saying, but they're just not quite ready to buy. And we know that is how buying behavior is. So prepare yourself for that. People aren't going to just see your ad one time. You run a $20 ad, they're going to see the ad and buy. Most of the time, that's not how it goes down. I'm looking at these comments here. Heather says, oh, hell yeah, advertising used to be expensive. Insert slightly less sweary word for a lot. Expensive as shit. I think that's what she was saying. As hell. Or as, anyway, okay. How much minimum in the budget per month and where do they point to? Okay, we're getting detailed. Let me see if I can handle that in a little bit. Dave says, worst business mistake I ever made was buy the 1K Yellow Page ad, $1,000 back in 2007. LOL, driveway spam. Yeah, I feel like if you're like a locksmith, what do people use the Yellow Pages for anymore? This was 10 years ago, but even then, it's like, if you're a locksmith or... That's the only thing I could think that you would use the Yellow Pages for these days. Then maybe it would have been a good... But since I know you're not a locksmith, that is a painful advertising mistake. Ouch. So, okay. Mistakes I see made. You throw up a quick and dirty $20 ad, and you don't immediately see sales come in. And here's the thing. With that amount of money, you're going to be reaching a very small amount of people, and you're going to be reaching them probably one time. So it takes 5 to 7 interactions, as I said. So you might be warming them up. That advertising might actually be more useful than you think it is, but you're not going to see that sale right away because you are going to have to keep interacting with that audience member. And this stuff takes time. I've said this before in previous episodes of Awkward Marketing. When it comes to tasks on your list, you're going to have to do one of two things. One, you are going to have to become a master of that task. So much so that then you can delegate it because you know exactly the steps that you can teach someone else to take, or you're going to have to hire a master. And that means investing, because masters of their craft are expensive, or they are, you get what you pay for, right? So when it comes to advertising, I think one thing that I like to prepare my clients with is either you need to start preparing yourself to put aside a solid chunk of your marketing budget to hire an expert, to hire somebody whose livelihood comes from Facebook ads, Google ads, PPC, all that stuff, or put in the time to you yourself become a master of it. It is so when you're starting off in the ads game, I do recommend still playing with smaller numbers and testing out what works and testing out some different things. Here's the main other mistake I see people making. Setting up ads that are directly linked to the call to action to buy, right? So if I sell candles, for example, one of my amazing clients, Deontay Morrow, Objects with Purpose, so I'm burning one of her candles right now. I'm not being paid to say that, but I love them. Objects with Purpose, they are like organic, toxic, non-toxic, it's so great, made out of, coconuts. Anyway, so if you're selling candles, what I see a lot of the time is, I'm just going to put up an ad right now, buy my candles, right? Buy them! Go ahead and buy! Something like, or I'm a coach, and so I'm going to put up an ad that's like, buy my $2,000 coaching package, and then I put up my ad, and I sit there and wait, and nothing happens. This is a mistake I made. This is a mistake I see made. Have I made that mistake? Oh yeah. In the early days, I would do ads where I'm like, just buy a website for me, please. And that went really well. And by well, I mean nobody even cared. So, all right, talked about some mistakes I see made. Here is what I want to talk about, some 3 different kind of ad types that I recommend starting out with. And you know what, Heather, you asked about money, you asked about budget, and I would say that is definitely going to range. You're really paying for. What I'm not going to recommend that you do is say, oh, I want to spend $100 on ads a month, or I want to spend $1,000 on ads per month, or I want to spend $10,000 on ads. It's more like, how much am I willing to pay per client or per conversion? Because here's what I'm going to talk about. Okay. 3 types of ads, I'm just going all over the place. 3 types of ads that I recommend you start out with when you're getting into the paid advertising game. And it's not just slapping up an ad being like, go to my page and buy from me, please. That's not going to work. So number 1 is retargeting ads. Well, I'm going to recommend that you pay for ads where you're retargeting basically a warm audience. So using Facebook as an example, that's what the Facebook pixel is all about. You got to get that pixel on your website so that you can tell who has been on your site. That is, or in the case of your business page, who, you've also got those amazing stats built in, who has interacted on your page. So one type of ad that I super highly recommend is just setting up as an evergreen ad that you just have going all the time is an ad that retargets people who have already visited your website or interacted on your page or with a specific type of content on your page. That right there is where you want to get started, because those people are warm. That's a warm part of your audience. They've already expressed some sort of interest in you because they visited your website, they've played around on your page, they've interacted on your content. So you already know that they've already got that at least one interaction. Remember how I said it takes 5 to 7 interactions minimum before someone's ready to buy? They already have at least one interaction with you. So make this number 2. So that's one type of ad that I really recommend. Of course, this is super vague in general, and you're going to want to create a strategy around this. But retargeting ads, start there, as opposed to just like a random ad that's like, buy a candle, please. If you're going to do that, buy a candle ad, may it be to people who have already visited your website, right? So that's one. Second type of ad is going to be an ad that's part of a funnel, okay? Let me explain what I mean by that. So as I said, one big mistake I see is people just kind of like throwing up random ads being like, come to my site and enjoy my wares, peruse my offerings, look at all the beautiful things, And it's just, it's not focused enough. So you're just kind of like hoping that people are going to kind of like what you do. And you're also asking for the sale too soon. So what I recommend instead is ads that are funneling people into a funnel. So one really easy example of this is an ad that's going to, yep, that is another commercial break from our sponsor, Awkwardness. Okay, so you're going to, an example of a funnel would be like putting an ad on a lead magnet, like, another one of Nicholas Kuzmich's nuggets of wisdom that I got was like, people don't care about ebooks anymore. People don't want your MP3. People don't want your 5-day course. They want something that's actionable, something that they can take action on right away, and then they're going to get value out of today, right now. So I don't want to have to read a 25-page ebook, and I mean, like, guilty as charged. I got an ebook up right now, don'thirewebdesigner.com. That's an ebook. Now, it is actionable. You can put it into practice, but is it a 1 to 2 page, like, checklist or something that I can, like, go and, like, immediately do and get value out of that? No. I'm asking people to invest a little bit more time in reading and, like, interacting with that. And Nicholas's advice is actually, you want your lead magnet to be something like short, sweet, easy, that I'm going to get value out of right away. That isn't going to require me to read a long, complicated ebook in order to get value, right? So think about maybe a checklist. Amy Porterfield does this really well. She, every podcast she does, she's got a freebie. And oftentimes it's something like a checklist, an action plan, a blueprint, something you can put in action today in your business. So you start with an ad towards that, the ad is pushing people to get your free actionable item. You go, you click on the page, I put in, my name and my email address, I get taken to a thank you page that maybe has an offer, and again, you're not selling quite yet. Maybe the offer is for a free call, or maybe it's for a really low cost offering. And then here's where retargeting comes back in. Then you retarget the people who opted in and converted through that, freebie that you gave them. You retarget them with ads over the next few days. So now you've got a totally warm audience, and you're spending your advertising budget on taking people into an experience with you, not just asking them for the sale, because we know they're not going to buy right away most of the time. So we want to set up our funnel in a way that we can start engaging with them and start those 5 to 7 interactions. So you can see I put retargeting right into there as well. And that's a Nicholas Kuzmich recipe I just gave you there. So 1, you're going to want to set up retargeting ads. 2, you want to have ads on a funnel. You don't just want to push people towards a buy now page. You want to bring them into relationship with you and then make it easy to continue nurturing that relationship over time. And the third type of ad that I'm going to recommend, and this is again a long game type of ad, this is not a buy now ad, is boosting or sponsoring content, some of your best content. So if you put out like the best blog post of your life, and there's crickets on that blog post, maybe you've sent it to your list, you're not getting any, you're not getting the engagement you want, that this content needs to be in front of people, well then you want to boost that content. You want to make sure that you're putting a little bit of ad money on that content to make sure you're not spending all of your time creating amazing content and then nobody sees it. Now, one thing I wanted to kind of say before was that, just because I'm advocating paid advertising doesn't mean I'm saying stop doing organic inbound marketing. What I mean by that is every time you blog, that is a form of creating organic traffic to your website. People are going to Google something, find you there, they're going to come in, right? When you are on a podcast and they link to your website, that's another form of organic traffic that's coming to you. You're not necessarily paying for that. You're getting people to your site without paying. Social media, building up your social media relationships, people clicking and finding you because of their relationship with you on social media, that's often organic. But here's the thing with organic. Because of how saturated the internet is these days, which I've just been talking about, organic inbound marketing takes longer. It's taking longer and longer and longer and longer, actually, now that we're almost in 2018, with the internet as saturated as it is. That is the long game. If you start blogging today, you will thank yourself for that blog maybe a year from now or 2 years from now. But you won't see results from that blog necessarily tomorrow or next month. So that's a long game type strategy. So what does advertising do? It accelerates your results. It accelerates getting in front of the right audience. It accelerates the type of results that you would get from organic alone. Because organic marketing on its own is priceless. I mean, being at the top of Google results for your preferred keywords, you can buy that, but there's nothing like there's nothing like organic traffic, right? But it takes time to build that up. So while you're waiting for those results, paid advertising accelerates that. So the 3 types of ads that I recommend you kind of getting started with are retargeting ads, retargeting an audience that's already warm, an audience that's already been on your website or already interacting with your content. 2, ads that are part of a funnel. We're not going to ask them, right, to just buy right away. We're going to bring them into a relationship. We're going to nurture that relationship over time. And And that's where the advertising comes in. And 3, your best content. We want to, make sure you're getting the eyes that you can on your best, because content is a trust builder. Content is an authority builder. Content nurtures relationships with people. It positions you as an expert, and it is a long game type activity. So that's where I would recommend getting started. Dave asked some questions about super specifics, how much money, where do I target, all of that kind of stuff. And Dave, I'd love to talk to you. Send me an email or send me a message after this chat. Heather, same thing. Jan says, I used to spend $400 for a half-page ad in a small, literally 5-7-inch local magazine with pretty much no return. Ouch. Yeah, that's some painful, awkward marketing. And what's cool, Jan, is I think that you'll see as you kind of grow into internet marketing and advertising specifically, is that you're going to be able to get in front of way more of your specific audience. And Sandra says, best advertising is to get others to talk about you. Oh, boom. So this is where it goes back to my number 3 recommended paid advertising, like where you're going to start on your best content. Because, I'll tell you what, when I did my awkward marketing Halloween, do you think that I just expected that to get in front of people organically? No, I definitely put some ad money on that. I wasn't going to spend all that time creating those videos and then hoping that it got the organic lift it needed. The odds were against me for that. So I definitely, absolutely, 100% now did I put thousands of dollars? No. I think for awkward marketing, I put less than $100 on each of the videos, and if you look at the traffic I got in those videos, it was worth it because people were talking about me and they still are. And so, the collateral effect of that. Now, was I selling anything? No. That's an example of putting money on my best content. I wasn't selling anything. I was leading people into my list in a way through the voting, but I wasn't selling anything. There wasn't even an opt-in, really. It was just me putting money on my best content because I want to make sure it gets seen and make sure that people are talking about it, just like Sandra says. So that's awesome. Sandra says, what about video ads? Thoughts? Yes, I'm talking about, no, of course, the example I just made wasn't a video ad. Those awkward marketing sketches that I did weren't ads necessarily, but I did put money on those because it was worth it. And actually, I absolutely am all about video advertising. It does get seen. You want your ads to stand apart in the newsfeed, for example. So Nicholas Kuzmich gave an example of when he does black and white ads, grayscale ads, those perform better than color ads. Now, we're talking about static ads right now. We're not talking about videos, but just because people aren't used to seeing as much black and white, so they'll stop their scroll and they'll look at whatever the ad is because it's in black and white. Same thing with video. Now, of course, video is becoming more and more popular, but just simply by virtue of video being alive, you're automatically going to stop a scroll with a great video. So I'm all about video ads all day, every day. Do it. Okay, Heather says, plus the cool thing about paid funnel is once they're on your list, you can direct them to your content. And every time you have something new and it boosts what you have. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And you're building the relationship. You're building those 5 to 7 interactions, moving people towards a sale. DL says, I know I keep saying this, but I freaking love you. Oh, I freaking love you. You changed my role on the daily. Well, everybody's role is getting changed today because when I get comments like that, oh, what can I say? I live on validation, people. That's another, that's a symptom of my Addy issues. Add a D to the top and then we're good. Okay, that's enough of that. This has been another episode of Awkward Marketing. I will see you here next week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about paid advertising, get in my inbox. I want to see you there. I want to say hi. So glad to see you guys today. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.